My parents bought me a ticket to go to Florida because for whatever reason they thought I was going to go to Florida. And I keep getting notifications for what do you want to eat at Disney World tomorrow?
Are they still going to Disney World?
Absolutely they are. And so on our family Zoom call yesterday, my brother who has a kid said, "Say bye to Grandma. It's her last Christmas."
Oh no.
Which they didn't think was funny, but I thought was hilarious.
This is Hoot and Holler, a podcast about the Ozarks.
Okay, cool. Loving this closet. Loving being in this closet. No, wasn't it Christmas Day that they took the Stimmy away from us?
Oh, Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Christmas Eve.
And
Christmas
today
Eve.
is the day that the unemployment runs out for people who are unemployed. And it's just...
And eviction moratoriums end.
Yeah.
In a couple of days.
Oh, shit.
31st, I think, yeah.
Let me... Oh, I left it at the store. Never mind. I have a letter from my landlord that's very threatening.
What
did they say?
Yeah.
Hold on, I can pull it up. It's not to me specifically, it's to everyone. The gist of it is that we've been being very nice to you, and you have been taking advantage of us, and you're paying late, all of you.
What?
Yeah, it's insane. And it said, you are over, we're not going to send you reminders anymore that you're late. And you've been overwhelming the receptionist, I guess?
I'm not trying to mean, because I'm all about workers' rights. Is the receptionist not there to take calls regarding matters of the office?
You would think. Yeah, it was actually kind of weird because half of the thing was you're not staying in touch with us, and the other half was you're overwhelming our...
Do they have any theories about why everyone is late on the rent?
Okay, hold on, I'll read it. First, please note that this letter is being sent to all underlying tenants, not just you specifically. If this does not apply to you, please disregard. Yeah, it doesn't, but I'm still pissed that you sent this to me. We have seen a large increase in late rent payments. Why the fuck do you think?
I wonder, is something going on, you guys? Like something that could majorly be affecting people's income sources? I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, it's weird that everyone's late on the rent.
Yeah, I can't imagine. They must just be deadbeats. I don't know. Additionally, we are seeing an increase in tenants simply not paying at all. Yeah, why do you think? Along with not communicating with us. This is unacceptable. Our software sends out reminder emails consistently, as does our accounting specialist. That's who they're worried about here. We should not have to contact you to find out why you have not paid. It is your responsibility as the tenant to keep us informed. All caps. Any late payment information should be directly communicated with Taylor.
Oh, damn. Sorry, guys.
Just straight to you. The accounting specialist. You can contact her by phone, blah, 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 blah. Although in light of recent events, we voluntarily declined to assess late fees as provided for in the lease agreements, but beginning January 1st, 2021, we will no longer decline to assess these late fees pursuant to the lease terms. A late charge of $25 will post on the 6th of every month, blah, blah, blah. Additionally, as of January 1st, we will not, that is in bold, send repeated courtesy emails, texts, or phone calls. If you are consistently late, we will contact legal counsel and pursue evictions as allowed.
There it is.
As allowed by our lease terms in Missouri law. So, oh, you were so nice.
Do you have any idea how many properties your landlord has?
It's got to be a lot. Like, this is, it's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, I saw someone else post about this that I don't know if I read the part about how they're sick of us taking advantage of them, but yeah.
It's fucking rich that a landlord would tell somebody that they're sick of people taking advantage of them.
The other thing, and why fuck these people forever, is they raised my rent in October by $30. Like,
dude, my company did the same.
What?
Like during this,
what the fuck is wrong with these people?
I think in theory they're like, well, we got to make up money that we're losing because people aren't paying or had to move out or whatever. And they're like, oh, let's just raise rent on people who pay every month.
Why don't they direct this letter toward the government?
Yeah, that would make more sense.
I mean, did they not have like a savings account in case something happened?
Yeah.
Have they tried to get another job to have another source of income to help pay their bills? Kind of seems like they were irresponsible.
Yeah,
the landlords.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, this is also extra weird to me because my business landlord has been like super accommodating. I know part of it's like they want to keep business tenants because places are dropping out, but they've given me They gave me a free month. Randomly, they messaged me and were like, "You only have to pay half in September." You know what I mean? Yet my house landlord is like, "Listen, motherfucker." If you're late one goddamn time, we're gonna send people to come for you.
It kind of sounds like they're gonna kill you.
Yeah, I hope so. Please,
Yeah.
put me on my misery.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they don't give a fuck what you do after they evict you.
Yeah, I honestly don't get what their internal logic is here because who is going to rent these vacant places?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I don't know. There's so many vacants on my street that they can talk tough all they want. I'm not. I'll just live in the store, motherfucker.
And they're going to keep raising the prices. $30 this year, $130 next year.
Yeah. The price raise really annoyed me because it was a week before my rent was up or my lease was up, and I didn't realize that. And I was like, shit. If I had like another month, I just would have moved out of spite.
Yeah, that's kind of why I ended up moving out of my old apartment. Was they were raising my rent, and it was just a shitty location, a shitty property company, and yeah, they're like, yeah, we're gonna raise your rent. I was like, absolutely not. It was literally like by $15. And granted, I'm super privileged. I could absolutely afford it. It's not a big deal. But it was just I just was so angry. You know?
The audacity.
Truly, the audacity. And it was like this huge Lindsay management company who did it. And I'm like, you guys are like literal like millionaires. Fuck off.
It was Duggar Inc. Like the Duggars. Listen, Taylor.
I have heard. So they do own a bunch of rent houses down over in Springdale, and I have heard rumors that they have not been super accommodating of the economic situation. But I it's like, damn, Duggar, not everyone has a TLC show.
The letters they send say. The first line is, look, life ain't all pickles and hairspray.
That's exactly what it is.
There's a whole Duggar organized crime ring down there.
Yeah.
Well, fuck all landlords.
Fuck all landlords. And you know who else we can say?
Fuck all landlords.
Fuck you too. Is the entire fucking government who is trying to screw us out of whatever amount of money they're going to agree upon to give us The only good thing that has come out of this were briefly the whatever the next stimulus was going to be. You know?
I know there was a moment there that I really thought Trump was going to get us that $2,000.
I know, and like,
alas,
yeah,
it slipped through my fingers.
So who does everyone blame most for this? I think there's plenty of blame to go around to everyone.
Oh yeah, obviously the Democrats are nowhere near innocent in any of this, as they are wont to be. I'm pissed at all of them because they have had quite literally the entire, since March, since it started. They got the $1,200 passed, which congratulations, it's literally your fucking job. And they've had since then, and I know we talked a little bit about this last week, they have had since then to get their shit together and help the American people, but they are all, at this point, it feels like they're like weird virtue signaling. And I'm just like, man, I don't give a fuck. Help out these people in a real meaningful way. I don't really care whose idea it is. Because once again, it's literally y'all's fucking job to help the American people. And right now, a majority of the American people are in some sort of, economic bind. Because of the coronavirus, which this government, largely, I think, on the executive branch of Donald Trump, have largely failed to control, and now we're all fucked. Yeah, we have a vaccine coming, but sure, a vaccine's not going to do any damn good if, we've got people out on the streets. God, it's so frustrating.
I mean, just a complete and utter failure from all of them. But this is, I mean, what do you expect from a completely corporate owned and controlled government?
Yeah. What is it on that I can't remember who made it, but that movie Basketball, they're like, yeah, it's a real team effort. It took all of us working together to lose this one. That's exactly how I feel about this.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, and when Trump first came, when Trump first started the $2,000, like he's full of shit, but I don't care. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, I know he's being...
That video he posted was totally unhinged.
I'm doing so many chef's kisses for that video.
Yes, same.
That rocked. Like, it was much like his Christmas Day message with Milan. Like, this man is just... He's wilding out right now.
A return to classic Trump.
Yes. He should be riding down the escalator in all of these videos.
Right?
Like, yeah. But
I almost expected him to try to make a provision in the stimulus bill to like try to get a wall built or something, like just anything. I fear we may be approaching that in the upcoming week. So I think this next coming, I think from now until when is Biden inaugurated, the 21st. I think we are in for. I think we're in for some classic Trump. I can't wait.
He's got 3.5 weeks, and they are going to be the craziest 3 weeks of his presidency.
He probably is going to fulfill his lifelong dream of starting a literal actual war with. We could just pick a country at this point on Twitter. I can't wait. He's not going to run it. He's not going to run it by anybody.
What if he does a Twitter poll where he's like, "Who should I go to war with?" He's going to throw in one of our allies just for fun. It'll be like Iran, Germany, just whoever you want, and then we're just going to be at a war.
Yeah.
Well, in addition to
Jerome bomb Angela Merkel.
Yeah. Or he's like,
whoever. Oh, maybe it's going to be who's the Canadian guy, the Prime Minister? Trudeau. Because he was very unfair to me when we went to a Broadway play, something like that. And we're just gonna go to war with Quebec.
Or he's gonna declare war on CNN or Fox News or something. Not even a country.
Honestly, it would be the best.
Or just a concept.
Jim Acosta from CNN specifically.
Yeah, he's gonna put him
He was
on
very
the FBI's most wanted list.
Honestly, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, not angry.
If that's how he spends his last couple weeks, more power to you, sir.
Who do you guys think is gonna be some of his last pardons?
Himself.
I'm waiting to see if he pardons Assange.
So
just as a fuck you.
So my thing was that maybe we could, and completely naive on my part, to think that we could get him to pardon Snowden as a, who would hate this, the deep state, that Nelly or whoever the fuck that he's obsessed with hating would not like this. but he won't. He's just gonna keep pardoning war criminals and Blackwater psychopaths.
Yeah.
And we can't get anything
Yeah,
good out of this guy. We're getting Jared Kushner's dad and Roger Stone.
Yeah, I can't even make any predictions. The next 3 weeks who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I hope something totally unhinged does happen, just for my own personal amusement. But
I am looking forward to Donald Trump not being in office for a multitude of reasons, but mostly so people that when I first meet them and tell them I'm a comedian, they'll stop being, well, aren't you glad Trump's in the White House? He's good for comedy. If I had a
Joe Biden is going to be great for
Joe
comedy.
Biden is so much fucking funnier than Donald Trump.
Yeah, also, yeah, and then I have to tell him I'm not a political comedian because I'm not, really smart enough or annoying enough, so...
I don't know if I've met a comedian ever that I'm like, this one is smart enough to be a political comedian.
You could have just stopped. I've never met a smart one. I'm allowed to say that.
I will say 90% of male comedians that do stand up at my store talk about Tinder and their dick for 5 minutes, and that is when I walk into the back and eat soup.
Good call.
Yeah. Oh no, it's another one of these open mic guys.
Sometimes you wonder where they find them, and it's just there. So there's at open mics, but that's a little in the weeds on comedy, which I miss so much. I would give anything to hear 5 minutes on some random weirdos allegedly
just some guy
superior penis.
Tinder. Yeah. It's coming. That is the
I hope it's
honestly
not.
Hold on to that dream,
Yeah.
Taylor.
we need to give the vaccine to open mic white guy comedy guys first, so they can get back out there and do a tight 5 about their penis, and have Tinder's crazy, right?
Yeah,
that's what we need.
You guys heard about Tinder?
You guys ever dated before?
Never mind. I actually do miss it now that you're saying.
Yeah,
it.
man. The other night I say drunk. I had 2 glasses of wine because I'm old, and I was looking through just pictures on my phone, and I came across this set of pictures I'd taken at an open mic, and I just started hysterically crying. Because I miss comedy, and I miss those shitty open mics so bad. I would give anything to drive, 2 hours to a show where I get paid $3, and just eat shit the whole time because 3 people showed up. I would give any amount of money. I would give the $3 back at this point.
Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna drive to Bookmarks, have 2 glasses of wine, and then try to play the dinosaur claw machine.
Yeah, honestly, that's in my plans. I think one of the things
that's the dream.
I think one of the things I'm looking forward to the most is seeing one of my podcast hosts again, and then also meeting the other half of the podcast that I haven't met in person yet. So I think that's going to be a great day.
Yeah. And I mean, we can't even do the video chats because the internet's too bad. So It'll be like on Unsolved Mysteries whenever they reunite with the long lost.
No, you know what we're gonna have to do.
That's what our first meeting.
You know
will
what we're
be
gonna have
like.
to do is we're all have to get Mickey Mouse shirts so we can all spot each other.
Hell yeah!
My mom will honestly send them.
Yeah, I'll shoot you my size, Josh.
Okay, so
yeah.
Do we have anything else to say about the stimulus?
Give me my $600.
No, yeah. Give me my money.
Fuck
you.
Here are my notes about the stimulus. The universal consent that the Democrats did was bullshit. It was all like political. Nancy Pelosi wants to own Mitch McConnell, and I think I speak for everyone. We don't give a fuck, man. Everyone is going to forget.
Yeah, we don't fucking care.
Yes. Like if you think that anyone will remember this, like in 2022 when there's an election, they won't. People will remember that Joe Biden was president and they got kicked out of their house.
Yeah.
The jig is up. People are tired of the political theater. No one gives a shit.
I don't care about like these memeable moments that the left is trying to provide. Like I want my friends to be able to stay in their homes, and I don't want to see anybody, die on the streets from a preventable pandemic. Like, let's work on that, and then we can work on your...
Yeah, the things we are asking for aren't that much.
No, it almost would seem like it would fall under the range of us fucking paying taxes. I've seen a tweet floating around. It's like, I cannot believe we fucking paid taxes this year. For what?
Yes.
What do our taxes go to?
Cops,
the military.
Cops.
Yeah, cops. The military. Interfering with foreign governments.
Great. Fantastic.
Fuck this shit. We are dying. We are literally dying.
A funny thing about Trump's, like, hilariously unhinged a speech is everything that he was like all the foreign aid was in his budget. That was what he was asking for.
Yeah.
And he was like, they're giving this money to Jordan. No, motherfucker, you asked for that money for Jordan. Like, but he doesn't know. Like, you know what I mean? Because he just watches Fox News all day. None of this relates to anything he's interested in.
Oh yeah. And he doesn't do anything that bores him. You know that.
Exactly. Not exciting, but if he can come out and bitch for a few minutes and just be a catty Trump, he's for it. Also, he didn't complain about the, what was it, $500 million to Israel that was in there. Like, every time I see any conservative complain about foreign aid, they forget to mention how much we just give to Israel.
Speaking of Israel, did anyone pay $30 to watch Wonder Woman on your couch?
Good segue. I did not.
No, I heard I didn't.
Yeah, I did not. I would never.
I have a Josh Hawley complaint to make that has been sitting here since in my notes from last week. So I don't know if anyone saw this, but so we've talked before about how is Hawley going to thread the needle on stopping the steal. You know what I mean? On being a Trump acolyte yet not coming off as crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I forget the name of this website, but it's like one of those ones that's like worldnews.net or something like that. And the headline was Senator Hawley rips Joe Biden's calls for unity, explodes about voter fraud.
It's kind of something he came about voter fraud.
Imagine just Josh Hawley Josh Hawley comes hard talking about voter fraud.
Rips Biden a new one and explodes.
But so here's his quote, and you may have seen this already because it's a couple weeks old. I'm from the state of Missouri. Yesterday I was talking with some of the constituents back home, a group of about 30 people. Every single one of them. Every one of them told me that they felt they had been disenfranchised, that their votes didn't matter, that the election had been rigged. They are normal, regular people. And then it goes on and on. So that's his thing, is he is going to act like these aren't freaks, these are just normal people, and they feel like they have been cheated. So he's not saying it. You know, like...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And honestly, again, this is where he's kind of smart in that way. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
So he...
yeah, that does answer a question, yeah.
He is your voice, saying they just feel like it's just been unfair. I'm not saying it. It's that kind of fucking bullshit. And
I think you're exactly right, yeah. And I think he's also going to be counting on time to be on his side, because by the time re-election comes up, no one's going to remember or give a shit. But anyone who does,
when is he
he'll
up
just be able
in
to point to
2024 or
this.
2022?
I don't know.
Let me look it
I
up.
think 2024.
Who did he...
But
He beat McCaskill, right?
yes,
He's up for re-election in 2024.
Okay.
24.
Yeah, he beat McCaskill.
Yeah, that's
I'm pretty sure.
people are not going to remember
Yeah,
anything that happened.
Yeah, But also he'll be running for president in 2044.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess that's the troubling thing, is he is probably playing it the smartest way any of these guys can play it.
That's the problem.
Yeah. I'm less scared of Cotton because Cotton is so just viscerally. You know what I mean? Like,
he's too fucking ugly to ever get.
Like, I don't want to get
power.
into Mary Fuck Kill again, but
No, I agree. There's something about Tom Cotton that's just like really off-putting.
Then
Just like him as a
He puts
person.
those stickers on his nipples.
God, the nipple stickers. I am gonna do a whole thing about Tom Cotton and his weird stickers. But
Just bumper stickers.
it's disturbing.
Across his jacket.
I know. I'm like, can you not throw on a campaign T-shirt, or I don't know, Tom Cotton, you're a famous Republican senator at a Kelly Loeffler event. People are gonna probably assume you're there for her, like just the long shot. No one's gonna think, oh man, I bet he's campaigning for John Ossoff.
Why not a tasteful button? So I, from time to time, dig around in old periodical archives from different defunct publications from the Ozarks. And I realize that this is going to be our last episode of 2020. So I wanted to find something with a New Year's theme. And I found this thing that somebody wrote in 1971. Looking back on the century. And so I want to read a little bit of it, and I only took a few parts out of it because it was very long, but I'm just going to read this. It's called O Time and Change by John Gurton, and this is from the White River Valley Historical Quarterly, 1971. Our life of today differs from that of 71 years ago, when a new century started. How well I can remember that New Year's night in our little Ozark Mountain home, as we sat around the wood stove, waiting of the new century to come in. The turn of the century was the beginning of many changes. Improvements were being made that should help humanity. We in the hills began to hear of the horseless carriage, wireless telegraphy? The telegraph machine, smokeless powder, hammerless guns, electric lights, and even talking machines. These new inventions were but the forerunner. The mechanical age had arrived. Yet in our quiet Ozark hills, it would be some time before one would notice much change. Flying machines would soon be invented, but so far the skies were strictly for the birds. The life that people lived in the hills at that time might be considered dull today as far as entertainment went. There was the Sunday gathering at the meeting house, and now and then a box or pie supper and square dances, but for the most part it was more work than play or entertainment. The Civil War ended some 35 years before. There had been some shooting going on in the hills for some time after, but quiet had now settled on the land, and the sounds one heard most were the tinkling of the cowbells, the song of many birds, and the gobbling of wild turkeys. Looking back, I wonder if life in the hills in those days, with all its hardships and lack of modern conveniences, did not have many things lacking today. There seemed a different family life and a different spirit towards one's neighbors that would be hard for many to understand when born in later years. The old coal oil lamp had not outlived its usefulness yet, and still cast its mellow glow on the faces of the family circle gathered around it on the long winter evenings. Now, there were more new inventions finding their way into the hills. Coming into the general store one day, I joined a group that stood staring at a marvelous machine that had just arrived. It was a talking machine, which actually talked and even sang. After it had been wound up by the merchant, it struck up a tune called "Strike Out McCracken." It was a comical song about a Scotchman who had somehow fallen into the sea. The shock to McCracken on striking the cold water could not have been worse than it was to me when this strange contraption with its human voice started up. It was uncanny, as the Scotchman himself might have said. All this was in the long ago, and no doubt young people today will smile to think how simple we must have been in those days. But at the rate the world is changing, who knows what the next 71 years will bring. I will not be around to see. So that's that, and that was written in 1971. And he says at the end, what will the next 71 years bring? So, 71 years from 1971 is 2041.
It will bring
right?
It will bring easily accessible pornography, is what I would tell him. Let me tell.
Imagine if he's blown away by that talking machine. Just imagine.
Let me explain incognito mode to ujizz.com. Sir. The wonders I can explain to you.
Yeah, I mean,
Josh,
imagine.
one of the first times I ever met you, you told me about how you found, I believe it was a hustler in the
Dillon's parking lot.
And that yes. So I'm imagining this is like his progression. Like in a few years, he's gonna find the hustler in the Dillon's parking lot, and then the steps this man is going.
My origin story starts with scrambled pornography. I could tell this guy about scrambled pornography, and he would be like, "Oh wow, wait."
Yeah, start at the beginning.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, "Sir,
Yeah.
Dan, one day you will be in the Dillon's parking lot, and it will get." And it gets better, but it gets better is actually being able to look at boobs and butts, but you don't see them. You don't see them scrambled anymore.
But
you kind of have to wonder what kind of optimism you would have to write that, because if I were to sit down right now and think about what's the next 71 years going to bring for our country or our world, I would be like, man, I don't know that we're going to be around in 71 years.
Well, yeah, okay, well, that's the thing.
So
he wrote it in 1971, thinking 71 years into the future. So what's it going to be like in 2041 in the Ozarks?
Do you think?
Sorry.
No,
go ahead, Josh.
I want to. Oh,
no, I was going to say, do you think it is a thing where we? This is more just me being in therapy. Do we manifest? Are we manifesting the future being terrible because we assume it will be? You know what I mean? Like that in
No.
But you like in that era, they used to think of the future being like the Jetsons or like I'm doing it.
Oh, right, and in 1971, I'm sure all that space race shit, they were fresh off that. So yeah, that was there's going to be flying cars,
right. Like if you look at like
and robot maids.
Hell yeah!
You could tell them about sex robots.
Yes. I want Rosie from the Jetsons to also be a sex robot. She still looks completely metal. She's a sex robot. No, but like in the 50s, like the golden age of sci-fi, like all of that stuff. Like some of it is kind of like Philip K. Dick is kind of dark, but I don't know. A lot of it.
Well, the thing is, we do have very impressive technological advancements, but ever more increasingly, you have to have $1 billion
right.
to be able to partake in them. That is the part of the future that didn't often get written about, is that the majority of people would just, be left in a trash heap.
I try to reference this movie a lot, even though it's not very good. Do you know the movie Elysium?
Absolutely.
So
I think I've seen that.
I constantly reference it, and I'm like, well, it's not very good, so why do I keep talking about it? But basically, the rich people have gone to live on a different planet and left us here on Earth. And that is...
Oh, yeah.
That's essential, and Matt Damon is going to save us. But essentially, that is the future that they want, right? It's Elon Musk and...
Well, I mean, think... Even WALL-E, like... all the people that are on the WALL-E ship, that ain't fucking 8 billion people. What do you think happened to the rest of the people on Earth?
Yeah, I'm just back in the trash heap with WALL-E.
Yeah.
Everybody, WALL-E is picking through the bones of 8 billion people.
Oh, God.
True, though.
Okay, one prediction I do have. I think we're going to... Have you read Snow Crash?
I have not.
No.
Like, I haven't read anything by Stevenson, and that's the one I always feel like I should read, but I have not.
It's really good. Part of it, like, there's technocratic city-states, nation-states, where corporations control territories, and I think we could see something like that, where in our region, probably Walmart or Johnny Morris will control everything we do, and we have to collect enough PepCoin, PepsiCo PepCoin, to take into Walmart to exchange for our rations.
Josh Hawley, Senator, Bass Pro. Tom Cotton, Senator, Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
Walmart fucking loves Tom Cotton, so I don't know. He might end up playing more to the Tysons folks, but it's either or there.
And because all of our jobs will be automated, we'll just have to, watch a certain amount of hours of HBO Max to get our allotment of PepCoin to take in to Bass Pro Shop for our can of beans.
I will log 20 hours on Amazon's MTurk to get 3 cans of beans to feed, and one can of cat food to feed me and my cats.
Yeah, I got to make sure we on our bargaining that we bargain enough for our cats.
I'll just let them eat me alive.
I would let Margot do the same. I appreciate someone matching that energy with me.
If you've ever seen that movie Logan's Run, have you ever seen that?
Uh-huh.
There's like an old man who just lives alone, like outside of the city, and they stumble on him and say, "Are you all alone?" He says, "No, I have all my cats." He lives around 500 cats. He says a long old man beard. That's gonna be me.
Honestly, I'm jealous. I wish Margot liked other cats enough, but
we are talking about 20 years into the future here.
Oh.
I don't know how long your old man beard will be.
Well, I'm working on it now. So, yeah, okay, yeah. No, I think
21 years in the future.
20 years from now, I think it's just going to be exactly how it is now, but worse.
Yeah. I think that's about right. Well, I think as we've talked about on the show before, the population here is going to be much larger, I think, as we take in climate refugees from the coast.
We need to build...
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
We need to build a goddamn wall right now to keep out all of these coastal elites.
I think we already have that. It's called the giant crosses that we erect.
We need to at least...
Yeah, we should have thanked them for putting up those warning symbols.
Yeah.
Like, all the really hip people who move to the coasts are going to try to come crawling back, and guess what?
Yeah.
We've too late.
After shitting on us for 30 years, then this is going to be all that's left. But, of course, they'll come in, build their properties, price the rents really high, and all the people who already live here will just have to fuck off and die.
So like a lot what's happening right now.
Exactly.
Happy New Year!
We're full of optimism.
Look, this
party favor blows.
This isn't officially going to be a New Year's show, right? We'll be very... we'll be...
I don't know.
We'll be much more...
Actually, I think so.
Oh, shit. I was going to be like, we'll be much more optimistic in 2021 on this show, but we won't be.
Yeah, this is going to drop on the 30th, and then we'll have a new episode on... When is it? The 6th. So, yeah, this is... Happy New Year's, everybody. Things are getting bad. We are very sad people. Thank you for listening and tuning in. We do appreciate it.
All right, well, that's all I got for mine.
Okay.
Thank you, John Girton. R.I.P.
Hey, John, I bet you thought you were still going to be here right now, but you're not. You're dead. You're dead, bitch. Sorry, John.
I can go next, if you're okay with that.
I am. I never want to get to what I'm talking about.
Okay. So I kind of took a little bit of a relaxed fit approach to this week. I wanted to talk about something that I learned this week. Well, I didn't learn it this week, but I renewed interest this week. I think it's important to know that I'm a garbage human being. I was going through some boxes that I recently unpacked. If anybody's been listening to this podcast for more than a couple of episodes, you know that I moved back at the beginning of November. I'm still unpacking boxes. While I was going through the boxes, I found a book called Ozarks Magic and Folklore by Vance Randolph. And
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good book. My parents actually bought it for me. My parents, in a lot of ways, I don't agree with them on a lot of stuff, but they are like super cool in a lot of other ways. They bought this book for me, and I was like, man, God, maybe like 12 or 13. And I saw it, and that kind of renewed some interest in some Ozark folklore. I haven't read it yet because, once again, I'm a garbage human being, and my attention span has been ruined completely by Twitter.
Oh, yeah, it's hard to read a book these days.
It's so hard to read a book. I'm so sorry, Josh. I'm always embarrassed to tell you that. But I was reminded of one of my favorite Ozarks legends. Some call it a tall tale. Just what I think encapsulates part of the magic that is Ozarks and Ozark storytelling is the Ozark Howler. Now, for those that don't know, the Ozark Howler, which is also known as the Ozark Black Howler, the Hoo-Hoo, the Nightshade Bear, and the Devil Cat, which I'm gonna be. Which,
wait, what?
I'm gonna be totally honest. I've only ever heard it referred to as the Ozark Howler. Have either of you guys heard any of those other names?
No, but
No, I've only heard it as the Ozarks Howler.
I'm very interested in.
Yeah.
What? Say the last one again.
The devil cat, which is what I call Margot when she bites me. It is and just as just a brief overview, the Ozark Howler is a creature that is usually described as being bear-sized, with a thick body, stocky legs, black shaggy hair. Okay. Just pause here. I don't like how this is just basically describing me, and that's honestly kind of rude. Has glowing red eyes and prominent horns. That's a little better. One of the defining characteristics of the howler is its cry, which has been described by a bunch of different people as somewhere as a mix between a wolf's howl, an elk's bugle, and the laugh of a hyena, which is what Margot sounds like if I feed her 6 minutes late. She's so mean to me. The Ozarks Howler is said to be ominous to anyone who hears its howl. They are in grave danger and they're likely to die. I actually read a really good essay.
Do not like that at all.
No, yeah, not a fan. Thankfully, I've never heard it. I read a really good essay by a guy named Ralph Torrent. He publishes essays on Medium. I highly recommend anybody who's interested in learning about the Ozark Howler to look him up. I can post some if you guys will just shoot me a DM on Twitter. He actually compares this to the Arkansas version of the Black Dog of Death, which you see mentioned in a lot of mythology, but it's a lot like the Grimm that's mentioned in British mythology and also in Harry Potter, also known as the Hellhound. It's also named as Scottish and Irish mythology, which, as we all know, those were some of the first settlers of the Ozarks, of our region. And and he actually speculates that the origin of this whole myth of the Black Dog of Death is a dog found in Fenrir, I might be saying that wrong, the monumental wolf, the son of Loki, who was changed by the gods of Asgard. Now, there have been many sightings of the Ozarks Howler, some less credible than others. But it's actually really interesting.
Can you tell me about the credible sightings of the Ozark Howler?
Well, less people see the Ozark Howler, excuse me. They more hear them.
Yeah, they're that makes sense. They're howlers.
Yeah, they are howlers.
I actually had a friend, and she did not say that what she heard was the Ozark Howler, but it's definitely in just like the general lexicon. Especially, I actually didn't mention this. This creature is said to be in southern Missouri and a lot in Arkansas mythology. I've actually heard about the Ozarks Howler since I was a kid. My friend Cassidy, she did clear us using this. She said, I don't know if it was the howler, but my old house was out in the woods and sat on a 50-foot bluff over a canyon. There's no roads or houses out there, just woods. We heard crazy animal noises all the time. But only one time was it an animal I could not identify, and it scared the shit out of me. At first I thought it was a mountain lion, but it didn't quite sound right because I've never heard and seen them before. Because I've heard and seen them before. No idea what it was, but I went inside and locked the door. That actually comes back to a lot of folks, cryptozoologists, and also the Arkansas Game and Fish. This is where they differ, is a lot of cryptozoologists don't believe in the Ozark Howler. They do believe that it is what is been a story passed down generation to generation. They believe it is a mountain lion.
I want to talk to some of the cryptozoologists who are like, well, this is bullshit, but let me tell you about my other things.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of folks say that it's a mountain lion or a panther or even a bobcat. But the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, who I have seen them post this, they are all the time, because big cats are spotted in Arkansas on a pretty, regular basis. And they're always like, we don't have a population. And I don't know why the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission is so against admitting there is a population of big cats in Arkansas, which I think is pretty dope, because, I want more cats everywhere.
When you say big cats, you mean like leopards or something?
So not
Well,
leopards.
the panther.
There's
the Ozarks
panthers.
panther is another.
Yeah, there's panthers in the Ozarks, especially in Arkansas, like right around where I grew up. There have been sightings of panthers by people who are very reliable sources, and mountain lions and bobcats. Like, I had a cousin. I guess he's still my cousin, but he, and I'm not kidding, he caught a bobcat, and I was 8 years old when this happened, and I think people think I'm making it up, but my mom can even back me up. He caught a baby bobcat, like a bobcat kitten, which is still a wild fucking animal, by the way. Caught it with his bare hands and put it in a cage, and that bobcat was mean as hell. But the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission is all the time saying there are no breeding populations of big cats in Arkansas. The ones that are out in the wild, there are very few, but they've escaped from people who are keeping them as illegal pets. So I think, as an overarching theme of this story, don't trust the government because they're lying to us, because people have spotted them like in Fayetteville. But a lot of people believe that people that have either seen or heard the Ozark Howler, that they are hearing mountain lions, bobcats, panthers, whatever.
Here's what I will say. I will say keep Fayetteville funky, and by that I mean turn the howler loose.
Yes. We did have a black bear on the loose in Fayetteville earlier this year.
Just that feral cats and bobcats and panthers, just let them run free through Fayetteville. What is funkier than that?
Exactly.
Okay, well, I have to speak up for my booger dog now.
Oh, yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, so I've heard it called booger dog and bouger dog. I've heard it pronounced both ways. But Taylor, do you know Booger Holler?
I do, yes.
Okay, so I think this is where Booger Holler gets his name, is from the booger dog. And the bouger is a black dog with red glowing eyes. It's less of a portent of death and more a creature that steals children and eats them when they've been naughty. But it's another hellhound. And I feel that the Ozarks Howler has usurped the wonderful booger dog in popularity, and I stay mad about it.
Can we talk about how the main attraction in Booger Hollow is a 2-story outhouse?
I haven't been through Booger Holler since I was a little girl, but my parents would always stop there on our way to Branson to get a new magnet for the fridge.
But there have been several sightings. I mean, of course, everywhere. The first sighting was actually allegedly, and I'll get into this in just a minute, was allegedly by Daniel Boone up in Cuba, Missouri, which is kind of between Springfield and Rolla. Now,
that's quite an origin story.
It is quite an origin story, and a lot of Daniel Boone origin stories tend to be a little fantastic and maybe, some extra enhancements added in. So
I had a Daniel Boone coonskin cap as a kid.
I believe that, Josh, and I bet you're you're perfectly handsome adult, but you were such a cute child.
Oh God, I found a picture. I'll have to send it. Like it's me
Please
sitting on Santa's lap, wearing. I think it's either a Wisconsin or Missouri shirt. I think it's Wisconsin because I would have been like 8 or 9, and I just have the doofiest look on my face with like bug eyes, like smiling.
That's so cute.
I love your childhood photos. They bring me great joy.
I do too.
I had a lot of good takes as a 12-year-old.
AKC.
I wish that I could go give me a time machine, and I would get 12-year-old me on this podcast to be like, let's talk about abortion, Josh.
I don't want that because I don't want to not like you.
The ratings would go through the roof for time traveling Josh interviewing 12-year-old alt-right Josh. Before the alt-right existed, just young proud boy Josh.
The sad thing is he probably looked really cute in that dumb little polo they wear. Yeah. But back to the Ozark Howler. I don't necessarily. But one of the most recent sightings was actually back in 2015 at Devil's Den State Park, which is just right down the road from me. There's actually pictures, and there's actually a Springfield Leader article posted about it. I will say it absolutely does look like a German Shepherd puppy with a bad Photoshop job. But my favorite thing about the Ozark Howler is, and I don't know that I'm necessarily 100% sold on the idea of this mythological beast being out in the Ozark forest. But I'm also not 100% a denier either. My favorite thing about it is, a lot of people consider our area, I know I've talked about this a lot, they consider the Ozarks just like this void where it's just, you drive down here and it's just meth houses and Trump signs and, giant crosses, which we do have that. We also have this.
Our giant crosses fucking rule. So I can't speak to the meth houses and the Trump signs. Thumbs down on those. But there's a certain charm to the disgustingly large crosses, I think.
And I definitely agree with you in the giant Jesus statue in Eureka Springs. It's definitely kind of part of the charm.
Everyone loves that.
I mean, do people go to Rio de Janeiro and they're like, oh, this fucking giant Christ statue sucks. These people are horrible. No.
Yeah. But a lot of people just kind of consider the Ozarks just to be this cultural kind of void, and we don't have anything, and we're not, we don't have some of the charms of I don't want to say I say charms kind of in quotations of the super deep South, and we're not really quite the Midwest, or we're not Appalachia. And
I'm the Midwest.
Not that people, and not that people say kind things about the Deep South or Appalachia or the Midwest, whatever. But my favorite thing about Ozarks is this legend, and if I ever have kids, I will absolutely tell them about the Ozark Howler, is that it's continuing on this wonderful tradition of generational storytelling that maybe starts with a tall tale of, somebody might have saw a panther out in, Bergman, Arkansas, and that led to this story. And, from all these generations, it's compounded and grown. And maybe that's me being a little, sentimental or naive or whatever, but I think that storytelling is a very important part of our culture and our history here in the Ozarks. And I do like that is still very much alive and well. And you see people on the internet talking about the Ozark Howler, and you see people, and it's not necessarily this thing that's to be made fun of. It's oh, hey, here's what we have, and here's what we think. And it's also just this tale is kind of passed down from generation to generation. And I do think that is really special. I think that's helping preserve a part of this Ozarks culture that we have. And I've been kind of...
I agree with you completely that our it is part of our cultural history. Storytelling and myth making and folklore is very much a part of the Ozarks.
Yeah.
And we have this living folktale with the Ozarks Howler, even though it was stolen from the Bouger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I said, I don't necessarily know that I 100% believe that this is this, horned, black shaggy beast that's, wandering around Devil's Den State Park. But, it's kind of almost like the magic of Santa. If anybody's not a believer, I'm so sorry. But
I was going to say... if you ever saw that Trump video when he's talking to like the 7-year-old and he's like,
yes.
Are you still a So Taylor, are you still a believer in the Howler? Because at your age, it's kind of marginal.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I think I do believe. There's a little part of me that thinks, and God damn it, maybe one day I'll be walking home on the bike path back to my apartment, and I'll see, a fucking bear-sized, thick-bodied, stocky-legged, black shaggy hair with glowing red eyes and prominent horns, and I'll think, hell yeah, and I'll devote my life to telling about the Ozark Howler. But until then, I am going to proudly pass along and that's one thing that I loved about the Ozark Howler, and I did a little research, is that it reminded me of my parents telling me these stories, and it made me like kind of excited to tell my nieces and nephews and my if I have them, potential children. And it just like it made me feel kind of warm and fuzzy about our region, which sometimes is a little hard to come upon. So that is
when we first moved to our current house that's out in the woods, we told our son, who was 5 at the time, that if he wandered out too far into the woods, that the booger would get him.
Oh.
Okay, well, that's a monster story from a monster.
Well, but I mean, because so many of folk tales center around children being carried off and eaten, and you have to imagine that in the olden days, you couldn't let your kids wander off because they would literally get eaten. Right. So you invent these fun stories to tell them.
Yeah, exactly.
To add a little bit of magic and mystery around it. And so it serves a dual purpose of getting them to keep their ass in the house and also, a fun story.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think we need to get the story out there more. So if I ever take a lady to a park to walk around, I can be like, ooh, the Howler might be around. And then she'll be like, oh, no, protect me. I am interacting with a Disney character in this story.
Josh, sweetheart, I wouldn't recommend bringing that up on a first date literally in the park, because it kind of sounds like you're going to kill her.
Yeah, right.
I like this energy.
I'd be into it.
I like this energy. We'll help you refine it, though.
Okay,
because I think you can tell the tale of the Ozark Howler on the first date. I just don't know in that way.
I actually have no notes.
Thank you.
Honestly, you know what? Harvey is the married one, so maybe listen to her.
Yes, me trying to frighten a woman to death to hold my hand is my move.
God damn it, Josh.
Cool. Also, I will say that Vance Randolph, he wrote the Magic and Folklore book, right?
Yes.
He is one of the best chroniclers of what era would that have been? Like early 1900s, 1950s.
He is the Ozarks folklorist,
Yeah.
and historical preservationist.
I actually didn't realize until today, until you mentioned it, Josh, that he had written other books. So I'm going to reread this one, and then in the 6.
He has a shit ton of books.
Yeah, I'm sure in the 6 months it'll take me to finish this 400-page book. After that, I'm gonna keep reading his stuff. So I'm really excited to kind of double down on my.
Pissing in the Snow is such a perverted book. It's so
very
it's nasty.
Yeah, which I thought it was going to be these kind of cute kind of tales for kids, and it was just so here's a story about a time I fucked this girl in the ass. It's just all
oh Jesus!
It's disgusting, but it's all fun. And Ozark.
Yeah, Vance Randolph, very good.
Yeah. Highly recommend him. All right.
All right, Josh, you gonna take us home?
Speaking of perverts,
Josh,
it doesn't even make sense. I guess I don't know what I want to say. Hold on, let me go get the book. I'll be right back. So I guess I want to talk about Barack Hussein Obama.
Oh,
So
you know, he was born in another country. That's what my dad told me.
that is so okay. So this honestly comes back to the way where, man. So I honestly don't know what I want to say about him. So I have been reading A Promised Land, the Obama book, which I've sold a ton of. So unironically, thanks Obama, you've helped me out a lot. And so they Random House sent me one, and it was all banged up and damaged, so I could report it as damaged. So I brought it home to read it. Man, I don't know. So I am so conflicted about Obama in a lot of ways. I don't know.
Right.
I guess
As are we all.
I feel like that's like a natural way to be, you know?
Maybe. I don't. Well, let me start by asking everyone, what do you think about Obama? I've asked a ton of people today because I'm trying to. I've been trying to get I'm only halfway through the book, but I already know what I want to say about the book. What are your thoughts on him?
My opinion is fuck him.
Yeah, honestly, same.
No hope, no change, not shit. He bailed out the banks, drone bombed the Middle East. No, I have nothing good to say about it.
Okay,
fuck
no,
him.
good.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I think I mentioned in the first episode I was a 100% recovering liberal before I was radicalized, and
same.
And during when he was in office, I liked Obama. Because I was like, oh, you know, we have a good leader. We don't have to do anything. We can just go to brunch. And
this
now,
comes back to exactly what I want to say. Thank you.
Yeah. And now that and that's one thing, like, I kind of started to take this over, Josh. That's one thing I want to drive home to anybody listening. Like, it's okay if you were at any point, you know, a liberal, or you're looking to move further left. Like, it's nothing to be embarrassed about, especially if you come from the Ozarks in super heavy red areas. I thought I was I felt like I was a, radicalist for thinking Hillary Clinton would make a good president. And it's okay that you've had to shift.
You probably were. In Arkansas, you fucking probably were.
I definitely don't think now that she would have been a good president or a good leader. But at the time, that's what I knew, and I've learned, and I've done better, and I'm learning more, and my views are subject to shift. So, like, I remember listening to this on the Trillbillies when I think it was Tom was like, yeah, hell, all of us were liberals at one point. And I remember just breathing like a sigh of relief because I felt like I was the only like person in the left that was like used to be like this uncool liberal. So I'll let you talk now, Josh, but anybody listening, it's okay if you have moved further left.
I literally cried when Obama was inaugurated.
Same, you know.
I was so happy.
Okay, I'll get to. Okay,
sorry.
No. So one thing I want to say is that, like, constantly on this podcast, or like on just in our posts and whatever, we use liberal as a pejorative, which I think, which it is a pejorative, but. But I think if people don't, I don't know. I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say.
Well, we're all terminally online.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man.
And we don't always we don't always think about that everyone else doesn't spend their every waking moment on twitter.com.
Right. So
and yeah.
So in the other people that use liberal that way are like conservative, you know what I mean, like own the libs or whatever.
Right.
And so I would say what we are talking about are people who are complacent about politics and think that the work is over now that Daddy Joe is in office. You know what I mean? Like we're going back to brunch crowd. Mm-hmm. And they think politics are voting once every 4 years kind of thing. And
they have faith in the system, in the government when the Democrats are in control, but only if the good guys, which are the Democrats, are in control. Which
The
material reality proves is false.
The thing that I figured out this year, which I should have figured out about 20 years ago, is that people that I know that I consider like good people don't want the same things that I do. You know what I mean? Like, for lack of a better term, Warren Democrats. they want they want things to be a little bit better, but they don't want radical change. They don't want like the structure of things to change, because for the most part their lives are okay, if that makes sense. And
exactly.
And so that's when I talk about liberals, I mostly mean that kind of thing. And honestly, Warren Democrats are much better than most Democrats, so that they're probably not who I'm actually thinking about. I'm more thinking about like Biden Democrats.
Yeah.
But okay, so I let me get into the Obama book, because like I think I said this, that this book should have come with the trigger warning specifically for me, because Obama is honestly the first politician that broke my heart. Because
same.
Sincerely, I completely believed in. I thought he was a transformative person, and he wasn't. You know, like I knocked doors for him. I volunteered. I drove people to the polls. I did all that stuff, which I am like such like an awkward, nervous person. Me knocking on someone's door was just like frightening. But I truly believed from like the beginning, you know, like.
And you have to put into context is we were coming off of the Bush years, and I mean, at least myself, I was 19 when Obama got into office.
Yeah, you have a better excuse
than me. But this was my teenage years, you know, was the awfulness of the Bush years. And so he really did seem, I really bought into the hope and change.
That is what
line and sinker.
That is what he ran on. That's what he promised us. And he I'm sorry, man, he sold us out. So my political, like I was punk rock, so I was very cool.
I
sorry, my cats are fighting. The first person I ever voted, the first person I voted for was Nader in 2000. And don't regret it.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I will fight any Democrat to the death who tells me that I'm responsible for the Iraq War, because the people they told me to vote for the next 8 years also were for that war. You know, like John Kerry and Hillary Clinton, they voted for it. So fuck off.
And Joe Biden.
and Joe Biden, yes. I really thought we were done with the Iraq War people after Obama, but no.
Never.
No, because they stay in office for fucking forever.
Yeah. No, in 2004, I was a big Kucinich guy, even though I was like, he's a dork. Like, he can't win, but I don't know. He has good policies. So 2008, all in on Obama. And so reading this book it's been so annoying for me, because he's making excuses for himself, but not really offering up good excuses at this point in the book. And it's the moment that I knew that he wasn't going to be transformational was when he started putting people like Rahm Emanuel and Tim Geithner, all those kind of like corporate people, into his cabinet, when he had run on this isn't politics, and you know what I mean, like hope and change or whatever.
Well, I remember being extremely confused as a 19-year-old whenever he did the big bank bailout. I was just like, I couldn't wrap my mind around it at all. I was like, well, there has to be a reason that I don't understand. But the reason was just for people to make money.
Yeah.
I actually... so I did mark this. I was going to read it, but it's like a page and a half where he justifies it. So I'm not going to read it. Actually, I'm going to.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. So this is him talking about the bank bailout. For many thoughtful critics, though, the fact that I'd engineered a return to pre-crisis normalcy is precisely the problem. A missed opportunity, a flat-out betrayal. Let me do Obama voice. According to this view, the financial crisis... No, okay. According to this view, the financial crisis...
Oh, that was good.
...offered a once-in-a-generation chance to reset the standards for normalcy, remaking not just the financial system, but the American economy overall. Yes, motherfucker! That's what we wanted. That's why we voted for you. If I had broken up the big banks and sent some white-collar culprits to jail, if only I'd put an end to outsized pay packages and Wall Street heads I win, tails you lose culture, then maybe today we would have a more equitable system that served the interest of not just working families, or serve the interests of working families rather than a handful of billionaires. Yes, Barrack.
So why didn't you? Why didn't you, motherfucker?
I understand the frustrations. In many ways, I share them. To this day.
Oh my God.
Listen to this sentence. This annoyed me. To this day, I survey reports of America's escalating inequality, its reduced upward mobility, and still stagnant wages. With all the consequent anger and distortions, such trends stir in our democracy. And I wonder whether I should have been more bolder in those early months. Yes, yes, yes!
Yeah, dog. Absolutely.
Josh, how are you reading this?
I don't know how we can write this with a straight face. Willing to exact more economic pain in the short term in pursuit of a permanently altered and more economic order. So, so his argument is it was going to be hard on working families if he didn't bail out the big banks. That's his argument. Okay. The thought nags at me. And yet, even if it were possible for me to go back in time and get a do-over, I can't say I would have made different choices. Brock! In the abstract, all the various alternatives and missed opportunities that critics offer up sound plausible. Simple plot points in a morality tale. But when you dig into the details, each of the options they propose, whether nationalization of the banks or stretching the definition of criminal statutes to prosecute banking executives, yes, sir, do it. Or simply letting a portion of the banking system collapse is to avoid moral hazard, would have required violence to the social order, a wrenching of political and economic norms.
Good.
That almost certainly would have made things worse. And so it goes on so it's just him trying to rationalize and making the argument that it would have been worse if he
it's just that liberal thing of we can't do things differently.
Yeah, that's
we simply can't do things differently.
It's just him making that same argument that we can't up in the system because this is how it is. And yes, it would have been worse for some people would have lost their jobs, but also you could have done something about that. You could, instead of giving money to the banks, you could have sent people money.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just demonstrates how relying on this system that is so... it's not broken. It's working exactly the way it was designed to.
Yes.
That's
the system that doesn't serve the people, as long as we're relying on it, we're going to continue to be fucked over by it. Because they don't want to change it up, because that would hurt their power.
100%, Harvey.
And he was acting in the interest of power. He had no interest in changing the system. And he had the chance to. Like, if anyone in our lifetime, you know what I mean? Like, anyone post like FDR has had a chance to up in the system, it was him. And he surrounded himself with people who were like, sir, I don't know. I'm not letting him off the hook at all.
No.
Anyway, this book is making me very upset.
I don't know how you're reading it.
Honestly, yeah, Josh, that's what I was thinking. I'm impressed and proud that you are really biting the bullet for us to read this, because this isn't as hard as watching that James River service. That triggered me in a different way. I will say that he is a good writer. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, which makes it even sneakier.
He probably has a ghostwriter.
I honestly don't think he does. Like, Bill Ayers again. Like, have you ever heard that thing that Bill Ayers wrote his autobiography? His first one. That's like a right-wing like thing.
Oh.
Oh.
No, like...
Is this the book where he says he pretended to be a socialist to get some pussy?
No. That's in this one. Okay. So I was so angry that was in the first 12 pages because I was like, I'm going to have to work for this. But right away, the ethereal bisexual... let me look it up because it is... my man. I mean...
He was cruising for some puss, just like Ray Stevens.
Look, we've all done some things that we're not proud of, sir, but we don't put in our autobiographies.
Much like Barack Obama, I didn't pretend to be a socialist. I have pretended to enjoy the music of Tom Waits. I have pretended to care about George Carlin. Not for puss, but for dick. So I get it, Obama, but I would not...
I've sat through some terrible guitar solos.
I'm trying to think
One time,
of the
a guy I hooked up with played a Jason Mraz song on his guitar, and not well, because I had to ask him, "Oh my God, what song was that?" And it was whatever that. I try to block the memory, to be honest. So, Obama, I get it. I'm not gonna. I said I wouldn't put that in my autobiography, but I just admitted it on a podcast. So, you know what? You know what, Obama?
This
you do you.
He's charging $45 for this shit.
This is free.
I will say.
Oh my God, that's.
I will say
extortion.
I will say that I did sit through the movie Uptown Girls, starring Brittany Murphy and Dakota Fanning, because a girl wanted to watch it. So.
That is a great piece of film, so consider yourself lucky.
She did you a favor.
R.I.P. Brittany Murphy. Also Luann Platter.
Yeah, R.I.P. Okay, so looking back, it's embarrassing to recognize the degree to which my intellectual curiosity for the first years of college paralleled the interest in various women I was attempting to get to know. Let's see, Marx and Marcuse. So I had something to say to the long-legged socialist who lived in my dorm, Fannin and Gwendolyn Books for the smooth-skinned sociology major who never gave me a second look, Foucault and Wolfe for the ethereal bisexual who wore mostly black. Barack,
puke.
Why are you putting this in your book?
Yeah, why are you admitting this, man? You just posting your L's online, bud.
Seriously, Michelle should have had a marker and just been crossing this shit out. That's why she will always be people's favorite Obama, because this guy, I don't know. Let's see.
Sasha is my favorite.
Yeah, imagine being the Obama girls and having to read that about your dad.
Dad was so horny.
Ew.
That's not horny online. He is horny on paper.
So much worse. At least you can delete your horny tweets, but buddy, you sent out millions of these.
Josh has it forever.
Okay, so what else do I want to say about him? Okay, so here's the thing that I actually want to say about this book, what my takeaway from this book is, who cares? You know what I mean? Whatever. All right, Brock.
Yeah, why is he even writing a book right now?
I think
because I cannot honestly wait for Donald Trump to have a ghostwritten book where it's just all of him just talking shit about everyone. It's just going to be petty. You know what I mean? That book is going to rock.
Yeah, that'll be a very funny book.
Yeah, but he already posts everything he thinks online every second, so. But no, it'll be great. So anyway, what this book made me realize is that liberals, and this is where I kind of felt a small amount of sympathy for our guy, is that the Republicans from day one were just like, no, we're going to oppose everything he does. It doesn't matter. We're going to do it. And they're going to do it again with Biden. And the problem is, and I realize I am arguing for push Biden left, which is impossible. I understand that. But
hey, we pushed Trump left.
We did just by not electing him and having him get mad at Republicans. But I think the ultimate failure of the Obama administration is he's a politician, which we didn't think at the time, right? We thought, like, he is this figure that... And he actually talks about it, that he doesn't say, I'm a cipher, but he's a cipher. We all put our hopes and aspirations onto him. And he was aware of that. And we saw in him what we wanted to see in him. And it just turned out, he was a centrist Democrat, ultimately. But the problem is everyone went back to brunch after he won, right? And the Tea Party coalesced around the idea that he's a social, whatever. And so they stayed winning. You know, like they had an opposition movement. And the thing that liberals specifically don't do is they don't attack their politicians because they're their friends, right? Like Nancy Pelosi is my friend. AOC is my friend.
Right.
Whoever it is.
Because they're so attached to decency.
Yes. And what they need to do is tell these motherfuckers to do their bidding. And what is going to happen in the next 2 years, like, Obama didn't write this for this reason, but what this book is a blueprint for what is going to happen. And they're going to do the exact same thing they did. They're going to win in a landslide in a few years. They're going to take over the House. If liberals go back to brunch, which they're more than excited to do it. So,
yeah, they already have.
Yeah, they're bragging about it. I'm like, I'm just so glad not to have to think about this anymore.
I can't imagine, you know.
Yeah. Isn't it nice to not have to pay attention to the news?
Right.
I don't know. Is it?
I would love to know what that's like. But I also can't imagine going through the last Trump started running damn near 6 years ago at this point. I can't imagine going through this and also being in the middle of a global pandemic and thinking, oh yeah, we can totally trust our government. We can just not pay attention anymore. Like, what the fuck? I wouldn't care if Bernie Sanders had been elected. I'd be like, yeah, I'm still going to hold him accountable and I'm going to still call him out if he pulls any shit.
Right.
I can't imagine, like, electing Joe fucking Biden and being like, oh yeah, things are going to be fine. What?
This guy,
are y'all out of
this
your
guy's got it. The guy
mind?
that says, I can work with the Republicans and they'll be good again. I trust my friends across the aisle to...
Well, that's the thing, is that they are all friends. You know, it's one big club, and we're not invited.
Yeah. It's another failure of Obama that I'll get into at some other point. Is that he cared more about what David Brooks wrote than about anything else. Yeah, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. So I'm very worried that all of the same mistakes of the past are going to repeat. I don't know how to stop it. You know what I mean? Like, these 4 years are going to be worse than the Obama 4 years.
Absolutely.
Because they're already arguing that this was stolen. So, okay, I want to say...
we're in a worse economic place. Climate change is barreling towards us. And
we have Joe goddamn Biden at the wheel. Imagine feeling any kind of like, we're good. We got Joe.
It's just a disaster.
Look, is it better than Trump? Sure. But if I let my cat just walk around the Oval Office shitting with no litter box in there, that would also be better than Trump. But, okay, so the last thing I want to say about this book, and what I guess the main thing I want to say about the Obama presidency is, so this is a quote from him. Well, actually, this is the quote from a review that quotes him. So this is the quote from the review. He addressed the book to, quote, the next generation, the people who seek to remake the world. So, and he has talked about this before, and he said this, if you remember him, like his speech when he was going out, like the last speech of his presidency, it was like a big thing.
Oh yeah,
like Trump coming in, so it was obviously a you really won, buddy. But he talked about how he didn't want young people to be cynical about politics, and in the book he talks about how, so like the first 200 pages is him running against Hillary, and he talks about how part of the conflict against running against Hillary is he was challenging Bill's legacy as president, right? Like for him to say the system isn't working for you is saying guess who also didn't help? Bill fucking Clinton.
Yeah, and then there's no way that Biden is going to do that about his own administration.
Right. So, but Biden didn't. Biden ran as, like a lot of them did, ran as, I'm going to continue the Obama legacy kind of thing. But who didn't? Our boy Bernie. So, so what Obama is talking about in the book, the threat that that Bill Clinton felt, is exactly how he felt about Sanders, because Sanders couldn't, and he didn't say word for word like Obama failed you, but the policies he was running on were Obama failed you, and he was right. And the argument that Obama is making is young people should not be cynical about politics. But why should they not be cynical when the power broker in the Democratic Party put his finger on the scale and orchestrated a Joe Biden nomination?
Yeah. If that was your goal, you fucked that one up, buddy.
Absolutely.
Right, and that if there's been, in my lifetime, there's been two presidential candidates who had young people engaged, and it was Obama and it was Sanders. And
yeah.
And I think Obama felt threatened by it because it was repudiation of his politics, and I think he doesn't like Bernie in general, and he doesn't like his politics because he's kind of a centrist. But
yeah.
But so what I would say to young people is, do be fucking cynical. You should be cynical. You shouldn't trust these people. It doesn't mean you shouldn't engage in politics or engage in anything. You should, but you should know that these people are fucking they are snakes,
and they're not out for your best interest. Like, it's okay to hold people in power accountable. That's absolutely what you should be doing. It's a patriotic thing to do.
And it's good to follow politics, if for nothing else but to ruthlessly own them all.
Bully your senators online.
Bully your politicians 24 hours a day. Never stop.
Yeah. So that's what annoys me about this book, is that I think, as cool as he wants to be because he listens to Phoebe Bridgers like me, but he does not understand her like I do. He listens to Kyoto and he does not understand it the way I do.
Josh, nobody listens to Phoebe Bridgers quite like me and you do.
Exactly. But yeah, he's the most cynical motherfucker on the planet. So I don't want lectures from this guy. Anyway, that's all I have to say. The book's a bummer because
That's all right.
Yeah, I loved him, but not anymore. I'm sorry. I'm just ranting. I'm sorry.
No, never apologize, Josh.
No, that was good. That was all really
damn,
good.
Guys, this is a fucking banger.
All right, y'all. That's going to do it this week. And that'll do it for us this year. This will drop in your feed December 30th, 2020. Penultimate day of a long, hard, bad year. A year that sucked shit for a lot of people. Yeah, there's not a lot of bright spots, but one of the bright spots was this show for me. And I know my co-host would agree. We all enjoy doing this very much, and we're thrilled that there are people out there who are listening to this shit every week. I don't know, man. We're still learning. Obviously, everything is a learning experience. We're all traveling down some path, but it is incredible to be able to subvert some of this isolation and loneliness of rural life anyways, and the rural political existence of a leftist, compounded this year by the stringent isolation of a deadly pandemic. So this has been great. It's been helpful. It gives me something to look forward to every week, and I want to just say thank you. If you've made it through a couple episodes, whatever, man, come find us on social media. You can find us over on the Patreon. That's patreon.com/hootnhollerpod. You could shoot me an email at hootnhollerpod@gmail.com. Just whatever we like hearing from folks. I think it makes the show richer to have more. It be informed by more voices and more experiences. So I don't know. We want to talk. Anyways, I'm rambling on here. Harvey's going to give me a hard time because she says that my outros are too long, and I don't disagree with her. But here I am ruminating on this year, and I feel like I'm owed that. God damn it. That's all I got. This week we are led out by a track called Rural Arkansas Water Supply by my good buddy who goes by the name Piranhas down in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And I swear to God, I did not say an I in there. Maybe that did sound like the word piranhas, the fish, but it is not the word piranhas, the fish. It is not piranhas, the fish, misspelled. It is just piranhas. Yeah, one of the most prolific songwriters I have ever met. Anyways, happy to feature one of his delightful little weird songs on here today. So here's my buddy Sharp from Fayetteville singing a song about hydrology in the Ozarks. Thanks for coming through. I will talk to you next year.